Hey everybody, welcome into the Sporting News Studio. I'm Stephen Levine with NASCAR Illustrated. Each month in the magazine, we profile an up-and-coming driver for our Gaining Traction column. And this month, we're proud to have Dylan Kwasniewski in the studio, maybe the up-and-comingest of all, the defending K&N West Series champion. You were the 2011 Rookie of the Year in that series, but you're transferring to the East Series this year.
Yep, that's the plan.
Yeah, how is that going to be? What do you anticipate the difference being between the West Series and the East Series?
You know, I think it might be a little stiffer competition. I mean, everyone says the field's a little bit more stacked in the East Series, and you know, I'm going to have to get used to the different tracks like Dover and Rockingham and stuff. And those tracks I haven't gone on, and they're definitely a lot faster than some of the stuff that we're used to. So it's going to take a little bit to get acclimated to those, but I'm really excited, and hopefully we can do a good job out there.
Strategically, is getting used to those tracks one of your main motivations for switching to the East Series with an eye towards Truck, Nationwide, eventually Cup?
Oh yeah, I mean that was the plan. I mean we wanted to get those real fast tracks and kind of get some experience under our belt. And I also got to get used to my new team. I'm going to be with Turner Scott Motorsports this year, so they just started that new East program up. So it's going to take a little bit to get acclimated to the team, but I feel like we're gelling pretty good already, and hopefully we'll have a good season.
Now Turner Scott Motorsports has the defending Truck Series champion in James Buescher. Joining a championship team and having a championship driver right there in your racing stable, is that sort of more pressure? Is it an opportunity? How do you view that?
I think it's a little bit pressure, but it's definitely a good opportunity. I mean, to have a guy like James Buescher that I can rely on and get some insight on some of the tracks that he's been to and the cars that he's run, it's really good because, I mean, that's obviously a championship caliber driver, and to have that insight right there, I think it'll definitely help me moving forward through all my races.
Now, you are the youngest West Series champion ever in history. You were 17 when you won the championship, yep. Correct? So when you first got in a car, was it something that just clicked for you? I mean, some kids, they take to piano. Some kids take to math. Was it like that for you with cars, or was it something that you sort of had to work at?
I think it was definitely something that I absolutely loved at the beginning. I mean, my dad put me in go-karts when I was about 4, so the first time I was on the track, I drove around in a parking lot set up in cones, and even though I was completely doing the wrong course on the track, I didn't want to get off, and I was just like, Dad, you got to get me one of these. I mean, this is awesome. So I stuck to it, and you know, I'm lucky that I could create a career out of it.
Yeah, well, and you have a career. You have a career before you finish high school. How do you balance sort of getting to be a kid, or do you balance getting to be a kid? Do you get to do things? Do you have a core group of friends that are not related to racing back home? I mean, how does that work for you? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, pretty much all my friends are, they don't know anything about racing. So, because I've known these guys for so long, and, you know, they just see me as Dylan. They don't see me as a race car driver. So it's cool having those guys. And it gets tough sometimes. Like, I'll be in Daytona for my Sadie's Hawkins dance. But, you know, things like those, you know, I'd rather go out and race a car than go to any high school dance.
Really? So you don't miss it sometimes, going to the movies on a Friday night or going to the Sadie Hawkins dance? Or?
Yeah, I mean, years past, I was definitely kind of like, you know, this kind of sucks. I have to go out of town all the time for it. But I've really, you know, I've seen what I can do with the sport, and I've seen the potential that we have. So, you know, I'm really excited about the future, and that stuff kind of doesn't matter to me anymore. I'm just ready to get my career started and move forward through everything.
All right. Well, speaking of future and getting your career started, do you guys have like a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan? Have you mapped out sort of where you want to be over the next several years, or are you just taking it as it comes?
Yeah, we definitely mapped it out. I mean, obviously we want to win that West Championship and Rookie of the Year, and we knocked those out. So hopefully we can get an East Championship, and that's the main goal for this year. And you know, we want to go into Nationwide definitely, and that's our ultimate plan for the year after that. And my ultimate goal is definitely to get in the Sprint Cup Series. So whatever I got to do that, and we're gonna work hard to do it.
You know, I was sort of reading some bio about you, and I couldn't help but sort of think about somebody like Joey Logano, who came into the sport young, was really thought of very highly as a youngster, jumped to Cup, and by his own admission, maybe before he was really ready to do so. Does that ever sort of, have you thought in terms of some of these other guys out there who started young and the course they've taken? I mean, if somebody offered you a Cup ride before you were ready, do you feel like you could say, let me season in the Nationwide Series a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having those drivers to learn from, it's good because, you know, I see that some of them moved a little too fast, too quickly. So, you know, I definitely want to take my time and go through the ranks, and I want to make sure that I make a name for myself in each series that I go into. So I want to make sure that I go into the Nationwide and perform on that before I go to the next level, because, I mean, from Nationwide to Cup, it's definitely a huge step. I mean, I'm stepping up to the big boy, so I want to make sure that I got all the success under my belt, and I want to make sure that I'm ready to go up to the next level.
All right, cool, man. Thanks. That's Dylan Kwasniewski. Look for him at a track near you, perhaps in the Truck Series this year, but definitely Nationwide Cup in the next few years.